Ahead.
We have Luca from Mini Wargaming.
Hello, everybody.
And you know me, I'm Austin. This was actually a surprise. I kind of caught him as I had food hanging in my mouth. He's like, Luca! He was kind enough to come over and give me pity, so.
I like to talk, and you got the right guy, so it's fine.
So, how's the con been for you so far?
So far, it's been a 12-hour drive, and on the way, I had to break into a metal factory on the way up.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was random. So we had a friend of the company for Mini Wargaming owns a metal factory just on the west side of Chicago.
Nice.
I don't know the proper area terminology for it, but it's like an industrial kind of park, I think is what it's called.
Okay.
And he's really good because he lets us store stuff there, product there, when we do go to conventions and whatnot. So he had to go, but he had told his assistant that we were going to come by and pick it up later in the evening, but then that got lost in translation somewhere. So no one knew why we were there, and then Matthew was insistent that I get the stuff, that Aaron, well, the owner, wouldn't mind us going in there and just essentially hand bombing it out. But no one told his evening shift staff that we were going to come by and grab it. So no one was really answering any doors.
It sounds like some rope traders type stuff.
So one of the garage doors was ajar by like a foot. So I crawled under it, and it's where the transports go to park between the delivery and like a gate that shuts it. And one of the employees did a no-no and left one of the doors ajar with a rock.
Oh,
so they
no.
go in and out. You're never supposed to do that. It's always a rule. So I'm like, I'll just gallivant in there. Why not? Couldn't find anyone. It was like a ghost ship essentially at this point. So I get in. There's a guy banging on a machine. I don't belong in there. It's dangerous. There's machinery everywhere. I don't have any PPE on. Not OSHA approved. However, he was able to direct me to the shift manager, and I found the pallets where our stuff was, and I'm like, that's the stuff we're after. I just cut the thing, hand bomb it in there. We don't need the forklift. It's fine. We'll take the extra time to do it. Unfortunately, they can't let anything go if there's no word of it, right? They just can't give away their stuff. So we had to come back the next day. It's a 2-hour drive from that factory to Milwaukee, and 2 hours to go back. So I had to spend another 4 hours driving the next day to pick up all of our Ravage Stars. It was all of our Ravage Star products.
Wow.
So we're not going to be selling much product at the convention
And
without our
for
product.
those that don't know, Ravistar is their exclusive game and product line.
Yeah, exactly. It's all, at first it was just counts as models for Warhammer 40K, but then it became much more than that. It became its own game with its own unique factions and anything like that. So that's how the convention started. And then since we've been here, it's pretty much par for the course stuff. Meet and greet, saying hi to lots of people who already know me, who have me at a disadvantage. But I love meeting new people and anyone's fan. I do it to try to, I make the content with Steve, with Mini Wargaming, well, it's a job, first of all. But
Yeah.
It's a job I have a lot of passion for. And I like to try to promote good behavior in the community, maybe, if that makes any sense. I don't know how to word it in any other way. Just
The camaraderie, the atmosphere, the wonderfulness, the togetherness. I see where you're going.
It's nice to goof off and bring bad things to games. Now, I say it from a point of privilege, because I might put down a super bad list that's not going to do anything and just get pooped on, but I'm going to play a game tomorrow. I'm going to play a game after that. I'm going to play a game that evening. So I have this freedom to kind of just mess around and try to promote that kind of gameplay. But I also understand that a lot of people out there only really get one game a month in, so they want to make sure that game's good. So they want to bring something strong in case their opponent's bringing something strong. But there's a lack of communication sometimes. You can just ask your opponent to not bring something crazy stupid. Just play chill. Don't be shy. Express how you feel, what kind of game you want to play. Usually the other person's reasonable and will meet you halfway.
Usually.
That's what I try to promote. There used to be a time in wargaming where the conversation about what the goal of the game is was always part of it. That was always step one. Rule 0, as people call it. That's gone, I find, in modern wargaming. I find people this is my legal list. This is what I'm going to play no matter what. I'm practicing for an event or whatever. I'm not playing. People don't play casually as much anymore. People play for serious.
No, and that's most people think I've been around it my whole life, which I have. My dad was a gamer. My dad is the one that gave me the passion for all of my nerdiness. But I found a group of friends and we get together and play, but there for a while I was so timid to play because even though I know who this is and I know what this is, and as you've seen, I paint, for competitions, I still have no idea how to play. And it's so embarrassing to admit, but it's the truth. As you say, sometimes it's nerve-wracking. You watch people or you've got like people putting other people down because their armies aren't painted. Like I understand they're not as pretty, but as somebody like that can't afford to paint it or doesn't have the time or just super conscious like I was before. Last year was the first year I actually stepped out and I put my model in there, and that's what pushed me to be where I am. Otherwise, I was super closet. Like most of my friends had no idea I could paint, let alone this.
It is important to put yourself out there, like the attack strategy.
Yes.
Just do it. Just do the thing. The games are complicated. The games are daunting. They don't need to be all the time, but often they are. So I can see why people would be a little worried about that kind of stuff. It's important to find the game that you like, and it's important to find the game that you and your friends are going to want to play and agree to play. You don't always have, like, a lot of people only play Warhammer games because that's what everyone else plays. I find that no one in a group is confident enough to want to, hey, let's try out this game. I'm going to start a community for this game. It's daunting, it's complicated, it's expensive, but it works.
that is the problem.
Yeah,
and
it's tough. Like for yourself, you're not really experienced in the game.
I've gotten a handful in with my small group, but still, I'm not like you said. I would never just go to a hobby store and say let's play.
Yeah,
because I'd be super self-conscious. I'm gonna get it wrong, or this guy's gonna be like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you doing that? You know what I mean?
It takes, like, even for a modern game of 40K, like you're not going to be able to comfortably play a match play game for probably 10 to 20 games, maybe, try and get in. And that's funny too, because like Warhammer 40K is supposed to be an entry-level war game. When you get to the match play element, that's obviously where it gets a lot more complicated. But I find most people skip you're a new player, I'm teaching you how to play, right to match play. A lot of people do that. That is not the right. Now I get it. The game feels a little empty without the match play or the crusade elements, but it's important to kind of like massage people into the game. You know, don't just put them right into the fire. A lot of people like that. A lot of people don't like that, and it can be very off-putting.
True. I do find, or at least for me, I can't speak for other people, but for me, I really love the combat patrols because it gave me that.
Yep.
I didn't have to buy the rule book. I didn't have to worry about crazy mounts. Everything I needed was right there.
And that's an important stepping stone to getting into the broader game itself.
You know,
that was Spearhead and Sigmar as well, right?
I have a closet full of models that I've gotten my whole life that have never seen the tabletop because I'm like, no. So I feel you.
And Games Workshop is a very important entity in the wargaming community, obviously. They kind of sculpted what modern wargaming is. I like to look at it as this like titanic entity that just floats through the void in space, has this massive gravitational pull, pulls people in from all bunch of communities all over the world and teaches them what tabletop wargaming is. And then from there, those people they pull in can like spin off and go join another floating entity, like a different game, like Black Powder or War at Seas, or like random other games. Like,
even Magic, even though it's a card game.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, one thing leads to another. D&D.
Yep.
You know, same group. I finally jumped into D&D for years. I never played.
Yep.
I literally went from 5th edition to the newest one, or not 5th edition, even older, 2nd edition, believe it.
Oh, Advanced D&D?
Yeah, so I went from 2nd edition to the newest edition, and I was lost.
Damn.
Let me tell you.
I haven't. I didn't play when I was very young. When Advanced D&D was out, my brother played it, and I didn't play too much of that. And I played a lot of 3rd with my friends. I actually liked 4th edition. I know it's taboo to say that, but I'm also 4th edition D&D was like a tabletop war game technically.
It really was.
It felt like a little skirmish game, but I love skirmish games. That's why I liked it. I understand why people didn't like it. And then 5th came out. We played the crap out of 5th to the point where we just didn't want to play it anymore. We probably played like 10 to 15 long campaigns in a row, just grinded them out. And then we like every campaign we would get a little more comfortable with it. We would add old mechanics that we kind of missed. Like different critical ranges or like things like that, like different effects for different weapons, slashing, piercing, bludgeoning, all that nonsense. And we kind of made our own 5th edition that we enjoyed playing the most. And then we just got bored of that and went to go play something else. My friends have no attention span that lasts longer than like a few months.
That's what my wife says. She's yelling at me constantly. I'm walking around and I'm looking. She's like, focus.
Yeah.
You know,
I get the
get
same
it.
thing. Yeah. And it's like, you know, my girlfriend will ask me to do something. I go to do it, and then I start talking. She's like, "Do the thing." Like, that's right. My bad. Yeah, of course.
Yep.
She's smart. She's very smart.
And patient.
Yes, there you go.
Mine is not. She gives me 2 tries and then here comes a shoot.
Yeah.
I usually only get 2 myself.
Yeah.
I'm happy she gives me 2.
Yeah, right.
I need it sometimes. My ADHD kicks in, and you know, I I don't like medicine for long
course.
reasons. I'm not gonna get into it, but typically I find if I have a cup of tea or two, the caffeine helps. But in a situation like this, I am all over the place. So thank God I have the women that I do.
I'm not too sure what helps me keep focused. When I'm playing a tabletop game, that's where I zero in on that. The rest of the world does not exist, and I like it when a game can pull me in like that. And I really hate it when a game has like a mechanic in it that pulls me right out. It feels so jarring.
It does.
Yeah, it feels just being ripped out. It's like being fully immersed in a movie, and then your phone won't stop ringing.
I know.
That's what it feels like.
That's
honestly what it
worst.
feels like. Yeah.
Or it's like you're right in the climax of the epic video game you're working on, and then it crashes.
It just crashes. Yes. It's like a lot of games will have mechanics that people will use because that's how it's written. That's not how it's intended, and they refuse to budge from it. Because how do you argue rules written versus intent? You don't know what the intent of the rules writer is, but you can assume they don't mean it to work that way, the way you're using it right now. And when that kind of happens, it pulls me right out. There's lots of examples I could give, but I'm sure you guys all understand.
Mm-hmm.
So I gotta ask, from one wolfie to another.
Oh, yeah.
What was your take last night? My wife looked at me like I was a fool because I started screaming at the top of my lungs, and then I started bawling, and I'm like, finally!
Well, first, with all the reveals, I was surprised, shocked actually. The full range refresh is what they needed, but I always had problems with modern Space Wolves because they tend to look the same as the other Legion.
Exactly.
They look the same as the other chapters. That was never the case. Unless you buy specifically the old models, the old
And
Grey
they
Hunters,
convert
the old
over,
Blood, exactly, right? You convert. I've seen lots of people with beautiful Blade Guard veteran conversions with Huskarl shields and axes and blades, but now we got them. We got head takers.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's nice to have them, right? So I'm elated. They said 11 new kits. I think they only showed off
6, I think.
I think that's the number. I can't quite remember. So we have more
It's
to
either
go.
5 or 6, yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot more to look forward to. I don't know what I'd expect.
I feel it in my bones. Big Papa Russ. I feel like he's the next.
I wouldn't say that's an impossibility. I would say that that's on the table.
My dad's telling me to don't crash, and I'm like, I know, but something feels right. Like
It might not be soon, but it's definitely 100% at some point in the future we will have Lehman Russ.
yes, but
I don't know when.
I just want to feel like he's going to be announced because think about it. We literally the last time we had Fulgrim, or not Fulgrim, he did come out, but Angron, and immediately we had the Lion.
Yep.
So I'm hoping with Fulgrim dropped and they haven't announced the new Loyalist. I'm very hopeful.
The Loyalists have always been kind of outmanned historically in like the releases. So like 4 Trader Primarchs to 2 Loyalist Primarchs isn't that far fetched, but I do suspect we'll probably get a Russ. I don't know what else. I'd say Russ for sure. What I'm really hoping for a new kit is like a Venerable Redemptor Dreadnought.
That would be cool.
That'd
I didn't
be
think about
killer.
that.
Shield and axe.
Yes,
but a
yes,
Redemptor
yes.
Dreadnought, yeah.
Or-
That is one thing I'm gonna say Thunderbolt. If I had to guess,
Oh God, sorry, I'm so.
if I had to guess on 5 new kits, Venerable Redemptor Dreadnought with shield and axe, or whatever loadout you want, probably new Thunderbolt Cav.
I love the new. Speaking of which, the new Wolf models look
They're
gorgeous.
awesome looking,
So I'm
yeah.
hoping you hit the nail because I'd love to see some new Thunders. They're my favorite.
And then the rest are up in the air for me.
I would like to see some new Wolfen too. Like,
I wouldn't be surprised, but Wolfen are relatively new, all things considered. Well,
true, but they
10-ish
still have,
years, I
They
guess.
still have kind of like the old pose. From
they
the
do,
old
yeah,
ones,
yeah.
So I'm hoping to see
And they
something.
weren't really well received generally. A lot of people didn't love the Wolfen.
I mean, yeah, well, they were also a murder pack when they first dropped. So
They
I
were,
see
yeah,
why.
those, they still haven't recovered from that. Wolfen,
No.
when they first came out in, was it 7th? Wrath of
Seven.
Magnus?
Yeah, it was
They were unstoppable, dude. They were, a unit of Wolfen would just table
I
and
know.
everything.
I was so excited, and I
They
got
were-
them, and they got nerfed. I
They
have
were
2 packs.
overtuned. Yeah, they were overtuned. And they have
finally
never been the
nice.
same, and it's going to be a long time before they're good again. That's just the typical path something goes with balance and stuff like that. I don't know what the other 3 would be though. Maybe one.
I'd like to see long things. We haven't got
Yeah,
any
I
new
think
long
that's a good
things.
idea. A new Longfang you would make a lot of sense. A specific Space Wolf heavy weapon.
Yes.
Yes. Like a new
Yes.
Longfang kit would be optional.
It would be nice
accessible, yeah.
considering, like you said, we don't really use like the grabs like other ones.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
you know,
it'll
our
give-
Gnarl veterans always go Grey Hunters and then right to the long things.
That would be a great step in getting a little bit of their flavor back because, well, we don't want to go too far back to 5th edition, but Longfangs were really really infamous in that edition. But
Yeah, they were wrecking
Space Wolves always had the best heavy weapon teams because they were the veterans. Yeah, they'd be like, you go Wolf, like those are like old guys. Those are like the long fangs for sure.
Yeah, I mean that's why they're called long fangs. I'm sorry, but it's like right in the title. So.
I would like it. I would like a special dedicated unit for sure. Again, I just want Space Wolves to have their identity back like they used to have it.
Yes.
It's coming back. That full range refresh, we're getting it back a little bit. Blood Claws, Grey Hunters.
What did you think about the story? Now that they have figured out the gene seed flaw for new Space Wolves, now we can start having sub-chapters. Did you hear about that?
I heard about that. I like any new development's good. I like new developments. It's very rare for 40K to have new developments.
It really is.
It's always what is it? The clock's always at like a minute from midnight or whatever, and it just always goes right back to 1 minute. So
it's like Groundhog Day. It just resets.
Yeah, it just resets. Now I should give them some credit. They're being a little more.
They're moving the story.
Yeah, they're being a little more daring, bringing up Primarchs. Which I know a lot of people weren't happy about Primarchs coming out because they were always the mythical beings. They were a little bit more fun to imagine than to physically have on the battlefield. And it is I do find it a little annoying that I'm always playing against the Primarch in a 40K game.
Yep.
But it is what it is.
I do see it, like, speaking of which, I'm glad you brought that up because I just recently was floored. My friend said that there was original female Space Force. I know there was.
There was.
And he proved it. Yeah. And apparently the
Rogue Trader. Yeah, Rogue Trader had female Space Force.
Yep, I did not know that. I was so dead sure.
The story I was told is, unfortunately, they did not sell well.
Yes.
So
I seen the model. I can see why. They were very weirdly long-limbed and torso.
People just bought the regular, like the dude Space Marines, and then like, well, if they're not going to buy them, we're not going to make them. So the narrative changed. Only dudes in the Space Marines.
But apparently they had Primarchs back then too. I found an old original.
Yeah, Prime. Yeah, is it the art of him? Oh yeah, the old model. Yeah.
Yeah, like he just standing there looking like a wolf guard leader.
Yep. Well, Primarchs weren't what the narrative was completely different in Rogue Trader.
Yeah, it blew my mind when I was reading because my dad tells me things and I don't listen to him, and then he ends up being right and I don't want to tell him.
Well, Space Marines back in the original concept were more of think of like a Starship Trooper or Marine.
Basically,
they're just a really well trained and well equipped human. Mm-hmm. That's all it was. And like the idea of them back then, it was a lot more feudal in design, where like certain chapters were locked in certain areas of the galaxy and they didn't venture out of that area too much. So the concept of like Blood Angels are here, like you know where the Blood Angels are, you know where the Space Wolves are. So having and you know where the Death Guard are attacking from. So the Space Wolves against Death Guard wasn't a matchup they allowed. Back then in the days, like that doesn't make sense. They're too far away. They wouldn't fight. That obviously didn't work for like a miniature company trying to sell models for a game. So they had to redesign the entire kind of idea of the narrative they had in mind.
It's funny that you bring that. I'm on my final chapter of this book series. I don't even know what it's called. I stumbled upon it. So it was Ashen Blade, then Stormcaller, and now Hell's Gate. Winter's Hell's Gate.
I'm not familiar with it.
It's cool because it follows like these like six wolf guard.
Okay.
And they go out to Ratshaka, and it's got our Plague Marines, and it's got Death Guard, and it's also got Sisters of Battle, and listening to...
Yeah, where Chaos is, they're not too far away.
But the thing is, the Church was the evil one. It was great. It was...
Oh!
You end up getting vindication because one of the governors was actually on the Spacewell side, and then this Cardinal shows up, puts her in a pendant engine because he felt and then by the end of the book, she goes rogue and carves him up. It was great. It was epic.
All right. Maybe something to check out then.
Yeah, it's Audible. Start with Ashen Blade, then Stormcaller, and Winter.
I'm always looking for something new to read. Once I'm done on the series,
my problem is I can't read, so my wife picks on me. Because I used to listen to music. Now when I drive, I'm listening to my books.
That's what I do. I used to have a much longer drive to work. I recently moved closer to work, but it was like around like a 50-minute commute, so I would just crush audiobooks.
That's what I've been doing. Yeah. When I'm painting, I listen to them.
I got one friend who's a crane operator, and they let him listen to audiobooks, and he gets 12 hours a day just listening to audiobooks.
Oh man, that sounds
great. That's a dream job right there.
Not bad. And as long as he's not screwing up, they don't care. Yep. So that's pretty killer. Yeah. A little jealous, but I like my job too. So I will.
No, and I like watching you. I remember when you first
and then I didn't really help too much. I would come by and we would spitball ideas off each other. He's like, I want to do this in the game. This is how it works, but it feels boring. So I'd help him. We'd play it out, play a little bit. Well, why don't you change it this way? Why don't you change it that way? He took some of the ideas. I always want to add. So my biggest weakness when designing a game or giving input on a game is I always want more. I want more granularity. Like, if I'm shooting a gun and rolling on 5 different charts to resolve it, that's a good game. That's it. I want that game to take 12 hours to play. Not everyone wants that. Actually, very, very few people actually want that.
I know my wife when I'm gaming, she's like, "Are you done yet?" No.
Yeah. So I have to be careful with what I suggest and understand that not all the things I'm going to suggest are going to make the final cut. But that's typically how it goes. And he's got a lot of games he's working on right now. They're more just ideas. The core rules are kind of written, but that's all. It's just words on paper. That's all it is right now. There's no models, but the concept is great. And that one I helped him a lot more on. It's like its name right now is Echoed Requiem, I think, or Galactic Requiem. I can't quite remember. It's just a scratched-in name for now.
I like the idea.
It's
I like
another.
the Requiem.
It's going to be like a open license skirmish game. Is what the concept is. But it's not going too much for it. It's a slow process. He's focusing on Ravage Star, so whenever he has time, he'll put in a few hours here and there. And if he has any questions, he'll come bother me with whatever I'm doing, and we'll play test around, try it out, make minor changes here and there. It's quite fun to be a part of. It's an interesting time for sure. It kind of reminds me of like all the stories I heard about old Games Workshop when back in the 80s and the 90s when nothing was really official and they just kind of ran around. They had such a crunch to produce. Like games like Blood Bowl and Necromunda were always meant to be like a little one-off sale. And we're like, now make up the next one, make Gorka Morka, make this one, make another game. Just keep spitballing out games, and we're not going to support these games because no one's going to care. Well, it's a harsh way to say it, but people are going to buy it once, play it a couple times, leave it on the shelf like Monopoly, right?
Yeah, it was going to be that board game when you go to when you're bored. I hear you.
Exactly. However, they were fan favorites. They were frothing at the mouth for it. So now they have the trouble of updating those games and spitballing new games and keeping updates on their major games like Warhammer 40K, Warhammer Fantasy Battles at the time. It was interesting. So that's kind of what it feels like. My main focus is recording content and promoting content and showing off new cool things and ways to play the game. But on the side, Matthew's like, well, come help me design this and come help me work on this and how's this rule look? How's this rule work? What do you think about this? Stuff like that. It's fun to be a part of. I like it. And though it has made it so my mind is kind of pulled out of the narrative of the games a little bit, and like I analyze them a little bit too much when I'm doing a new game. Like when I'm playing an old game that I'm familiar with, I already know the rules. Like Old World, I'm not judging the mechanics. I'm just playing the game because I like the game. There's definitely things I would change about it, but you have to understand that when they write rules, they're writing rules for millions of people to play, and they're trying to keep millions of people happy. So if they were to add in certain things that I would add, that might make 100,000 people mad and not want to play the game. But it makes Luca happy. Luca's a selfish man.
In his videos, you would know that that's not true.
Yeah, all right.
Sometimes I try to convince my guests to let's try to have this rule, and I think it'd be a lot of fun. And they don't know any better. They're like, oh, okay, and they have fun. So it always works out a little bit. Yeah. It's just they're already nervous coming by to meet us for the first time and be on camera for the first time.
Listen, I was super terrified. I thought you were gonna be like, "Who are you?" and keep walking. So,
no,
thank you.
I hope I would never get to that.
No.
No, even like triple A celebrities, and dude, I find that if you look, they're pretty approachable most times. Now they live very busy lives, much busier than my life. I'd like to consider myself a Z-list celebrity, but maybe here, B-level celebrity.
I was thinking listen, like I said, I had food falling on my mouth. My wife was like, "Oh my God, you're embarrassing." But I do want to touch on Ravage Star one more time.
Yep.
Sorry.
No.
I've seen Dave get his own lookalike model. Is Luca gonna get one?
No, I don't want to look. They scanned everyone's heads to make models, but they didn't all. They some of them fell through, some of them didn't make the cut. Dave's got his, and Matthew didn't care. He didn't want one.
It seems like Matthew.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. Matthew is definitely like the mind of the company. Dave is the charisma, right? So Matthew just wants to make sure, boom. Not that Dave doesn't help run the company as well, but he's the guy who goes around.
He's the energetic one.
He is.
He's the calm, zealous.
Dave networks. Dave does all the networking. Dave travels the world meeting all the other companies and forms strong ties. And then Matthew makes sure things run smoothly. It's a good partnership. It's good.
It really is. I mean, it's been enjoyable.
They've been working together for 17. I think we've been working 17 years. Yeah.
I was telling my wife,
You can look back at 26-year-old Matthew and like.
Yeah, like because I was in high school when it was going on.
It was exactly.
You know, because I'm 36, so like that's been most of my, you know.
I didn't start watching them until they were doing like 5th edition, 6th edition.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I remember when it's when they first came out. We play call it work, or we work so you can call it. We work.
I can't remember what the original one was.
Yeah, I think it was like we work and so you could play or something. But I remember them all. It was joyful. Speaking of which, I wanted one of the reasons because like I said, I reached out, but Dave and Matt were busy, so I understand.
Matthew has no time, dude. That dude's got 5 kids.
I believe.
Dang.
Dave's got 4. Dave's got 4 kids.
Wow.
They brought their armies with them.
Literally.
Because I always wanted to know, is there a chance to see Beat Matt Bat Rap? I loved it so much.
He's doing them again.
Is he?
Yeah, he's got a few of them queued up. He's doing Beat Matt Bat Rap.
Is he? Because I have to re-up. I used to be a vault member and then I got married and I lost.
Hey man, we've been around so long. We have like people come, people go. If we're not making content that's not interesting, people aren't going to stick around. Right?
Yeah, no, but I always loved it because, like I said, Matt can be funny, but he's not like you a day where you're energetic. Matt will hit you with a quick whip.
Yeah,
and it's just
absolutely.
so dry that you're just like.
And you don't expect it either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's so funny, but he just looks like such a chill guy.
So I will say, over the years, we're starting to see a little bit of evil Matthew.
Oh.
So if you watch Matthew from back when Mini Wargame first started, dude straight as an arrow.
Yeah, he was.
No inappropriate jokes, nothing like that. He's got a goatee now. He's evil
Yeah.
Matthew now.
I was gonna say something.
Yep.
Because I was just talking to him about his video when he came up and to start this. You know, I told him like I really loved the video that he did. Unfortunately, without getting too much into it, with all the evil world, it was really nice to see something honest and true and upfront. Because
you'll only get honesty out of Matthew. That dude will only, no matter how harsh it is, you're getting the truth from him.
And that's a friend you want because I mean,
because he won't sugarcoat anything, right?
Yeah. True. Because look around, look at all these people. I mean, and not a single dirty look, not a single. Everybody was high, you know, hugs and great jobs. This is what we need in the world, and it's so nice to have this.
This community is great, and like we're always trying to promote like. Sometimes people ask us, like, we'll have a guest come by, it's like, I know it's like probably inappropriate to ask, can I promote my game? I'm like, why is that inappropriate to ask? The community is only stronger when we all come together, man.
Hey, I mean, I gave you my sticker with my QR code, so I would hope you follow.
I will.
You know, like my wife, just a short while ago, when we dropped off my entry for Atomic Games, I did a Cosmic Ghostwriters.
Nice.
She actually made a friend and became part of a ladies group.
There you go.
Yeah.
You know, and she didn't even expect it. It just kind of happened.
Yeah,
So.
you put yourself out there, right? These conventions are great. Apparently, everything's 10 hours away from Milwaukee. That's what everyone says. And like, how long did you take to get here? Oh, about 10 hours. 10 hours. 10 hours.
We were lucky. It was like an hour and a half from us.
Oh, that's not bad. Are you guys in Wisconsin or?
No, we're just outside of Schaumburg.
Okay.
Where it used to be.
Yeah, just okay.
In Illinois, we're from Illinois.
Okay, gotcha.
So where it used to be, but you know, I'm having a good time. The con seems buzzing.
This is the first one I was able to make in years.
Yeah.
Usually I'm busy, stuck back at home working.
Yeah, because I got to talk to Dave last year, and I got to talk to Matt last year, and I was looking for you. And I got to talk to, I forget his name, but the painter with the long beard. He's really awesome too.
Chris?
I think Chris, because he plays the Custodies, I think.
Painter with the long, that wouldn't be Chris, no, Custodies.
He was like really shy when Matt first started bringing him on camera, and he did a couple games with Steve.
Oh, Josh.
That's it.
Oh, no, he's not a painter. Josh is not shy.
Oh, I thought he was
no
a painter.
Way,
I could have
no.
sworn he was one of the ones working on the models behind the scene because you guys have some phenomenal painters. I love how beautiful they are.
Chris has moved along. Lee's moved along.
That's what I'm probably thinking of. Lee.
Lee hates Custodies. You're thinking Josh for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, the big long beard. Yeah, shaved head.
Yep.
That's Josh.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure, Josh.
My bad, guys. My bad.
But we mostly contract out our painting to Greenleaf Terrain. Does a lot of our work. We have some absolutely talented. Okay, we got two. Now we have a lot of talented painters. I got to give a shout out to Paul and Tom. Tall Paul, Tall Tom. I don't know what they fed these boys, but they're big guys. They're like, I think Tall Tom's like 7'2", and like Tall Paul's like 6'8" or something.
Are you sure they're not works in disguise?
I don't know what's going on with these guys, but they went to fine art school in Toronto.
Wow.
And they have like, their hands are like the size of your phone, yet they're painting lightning bolts and freehanding everything. Some of the best painters I've ever come across. Just talented professionals from school right to afterwards, and I just feel like, I don't know how they do it with those hands, but they impress me every time.
They're gorgeous. I can tell you, I'm sure they're even better in person, but from the screen I see, they're amazing.
I remember the first time I met Tall Tom. I knew Tall Paul, and he's like, wait till you meet my buddy. So Tall Tom comes, he creeps under the door, and he walks through sideways through the door. I'm like, come on, man. You also paint model? I don't understand it, but I like it.
I thought Steve was giant.
And Steve's tiny compared to them.
Jesus.
Yeah, Steve's like 6'3", and he's a small man.
Jesus.
I don't know what they feed. I'm the shortest guy in the studio, and I'm 5'10" on a good day.
Still taller than me.
I am. Well, Matthew's like 6'2" or 6'3", right?
Yeah,
Like
he's-
everyone's crazy. Minimum 6 foot to work at mini wargaming until I got there.
Yeah.
I don't understand what's up with that. Like, I don't know why there's so many tall dudes there, but it is what it is.
How it is. My family, everyone's taller than me too.
Oh shit, yeah, that's it. I am the shortest. Well, my brother's taller than me. I only got the brothers.
Yeah, no, every one of them's taller than me except for my sister's guy.
Yeah, my sister's shorter than me. That's true. That'd be rough.
She's gonna give me help for the seeing this later, but haha, free. But thanks for your time. I've had such a blast. This was amazing. Thank
You got the right guy. I could talk forever. They actually got rid of the sit and talks because I would just do everyone's sit and talk. I was doing
I
too many
remember
sit and
watching
talks,
those.
and I wasn't recording actual games. Luca, you know you're only supposed to do a sit and talk for an hour. It's like a 2.5 hour long thing. I can't do what I was supposed to produce that day because I don't have the time to do it anymore. So like, okay, the sit and talks are a problem. Luca, you're a problem. I'm sorry for anyone who liked the sit and talks.
I loved them.
I kind of ruined them.
No.
And the other guys never made the time to do it, so I would do like other people's sit and talks. I'm like, oh, I'll just answer Josh's questions to the best of my knowledge and ability.
It was amazing. I loved them. They're entertaining because they're also genuine.
Yep. We try to be as genuine as possible. Right?
And that's the truth. You know, that's what I hear a lot from my content. And like, I was just like, listen, I am just a painter that loves this hobby. That, you know, I got followers, which is great, but more than most, I just want to meet people that like the same things I do.
I do not deserve any celebrity. I'm just a dude who lived near mini wargaming, who really likes wargames. Lots of you out there. It's just, I just got lucky and stumbled upon a job that was already established by the time I got there.
Yeah.
And I just ideally helped it grow more.
Yeah.
I think you did. You know, not just fanboying here, but like truly, you know, it was nice to see your take, and then watching you and Steve interact is always fun.
Oh, so Steve's the guy who got me the job. So we would, to elaborate more, I came by, I realized that they were only 40 minutes away from me. I watched them for years, and they said, oh, we're from Welland. I'm like, God, probably not Welland, Ontario, because they never said the Ontario part. And then their accent, we don't really have any like traditional Canadian accents, because we're like near the border, so kind of most together with like upstate New York, it's a similar accent. And then one day they said Ontario. I'm like, no way, these dudes are only like 40 minutes away. So I signed up for a game, played a 40K game, and then I signed up for Sigmar to come by and play Sigmar because they wanted Sigmar content when it first came out. And then Steve noticed I had a square-based vampire count army, and he asked if I played fantasy, and I never did. I owned the army.
I love fantasy. I actually have a vampire count myself.
Lots of people like vampire guys. Very popular army. I only bought them off of someone else because they were liquidating when they announced the end of fantasy and that Age of Sigmar was gonna be the new game. So I got like a full army for like $300.
That's awesome.
What a
I sold
steal!
my dad.
and then he's like, "Do you play fantasy?" I'm like, "No, I always wanted to play, but I don't know how to play. I don't want to be on camera playing this. Like, it's like a 400-page rule book.
Yeah.
Like, what am I gonna do? I don't know what I'm doing." He's like, "Oh, dude, it's way easier than it looks. It's an intimidating rule book." So we played it. I picked it up, and then he had me come by because he needed fantasy guests. So I just came by every Wednesday.
Yeah, he started the old world when you started coming around.
Yep. The old world wars were like, I was consistent content for the old world. It was like me, Cullen, and Steve. And then every now and then we'd have a guest. But we just got really ahead of content, and then one day they just offered me the job. I didn't even remotely even think about it. Didn't even expect it. I'm like, oh, of course. I was actually I was in trades. I was a welder, so that's kind of what I did. And then I'm like, oh, the welding definitely paid a lot more than content producing, but there's a lot more passion in playing Warhammer or making videos for everyone who likes to play Warhammer.
And that's how I feel. I mean, I'm not on your level yet, but I am trying. You know, and like I said, mine isn't just about wargaming. Like, it's my daily life. Like, it's covered heavily around painting and wargaming. So you'll see videos of me going to the Hawks, and my wife and I are huge hockey fans.
What team?
The Hawks.
Blackhawks.
Sorry, Hawks. I don't
Yeah.
like hockey.
No,
Oh, yeah.
the Blackhawks.
Blackhawks, yeah.
My story's a little weirder than most. I am actually born and raised in Michigan, Red Wing country, and I hate them.
Hate him. Fair.
My whole family are Red Wings fans, so I actually have a Blackhawks jersey that says Detroit sucks on the back of it, and I wear it home every Christmas.
I was always an Avalanche fan.
Okay.
It was mostly because of Mr. Sackett. I was young though, and he was a really good player.
At least you didn't say the Oilers.
I guess it makes sense to like the Oilers as Canadian though. Yeah, that's fair. I'm like, well, I mean, I have no strong. I guess of course. Lots of people like the Oilers. I should kind of like that. I should like the Oilers or the Maple Leafs, really.
I thought they were going to win last year, to be honest.
I thought they were too. Yeah. But yeah, I was always a fan of Colorado. And then I was a kid though, and I was a little disappointed because I always thought that the players were actually from the state or the area.
I did too. I feel like that's common.
When they got moved around, I'm like, oh, so wait, these guys aren't from these areas? I was really disappointed. I actually lost interest in it until like years later, like my early 20s, I started watching again.
Yeah, no, I was a closet hockey fan for years because nobody around me, like, my dad was on football, but even he's like, throw it on and paint it. And, like, so it wasn't until I came down here that like the passion really started showing through. You were like, this guy's nuts.
Hockey, I feel like hockey players, professional hockey players, have some of the most passion for their sport. They're willing to die on that ice, man. Like, holy crap, yeah. Like, did you watch the Four Nations play?
Yes, I did.
I assume you did. That was a hell of a 2 weeks, man.
Yeah, it was.
That was some of the best hockey I've ever seen.
What team it was? They were playing like it was the cup finals.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Those guys were gonna die on that ice, man.
Yeah,
There's so much passion.
I mean, just like the one, like, who was it? It was Canada and U.S. for the first time. Like,
yeah, I was very upset about that.
3 fist fights within the first. Jesus, it was like as soon as we just went to a Blackhawks game where that literally happened.
Yeah,
I'm sitting there like it was the pledge, and then right to a fight.
Yeah.
Literally.
Hell yeah, dude.
It was maroon going because it was Hawks versus who did we see?
I don't remember. Sorry.
I can't think of it now.
Well, whoever it was.
Yeah.
Oh.
But,
Oh, can't hear.
It started going.
There's probably some bad blood before the game or something.
Maybe
someone said something, right? Yeah.
Because it literally went from that to a fight at the goalie, and then over there it was like, I was like, were you not watching the Four Nations a little too much?
That was awesome hockey. I'd love to be able to watch something
It was
like that
old
again.
school hockey. It was great. It was like 80s hockey all over again.
It felt really, really fucking cool.
Yeah, it did.
It felt really nice to watch. Yeah.
It did, honestly.
It really reignited my like, oh yeah, I really do like this sport, man. It's awesome. Yeah.
Even my wife, you wouldn't believe it, but she beat his ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Bloodlust comes out.
I was.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, people like blood sports, man. It shows.
It does. Yeah. Like, there's just something about being carnage. So
I was like, it's gotta be one of the hardest sports to play.
I mean, fun fact, actually. Sadly enough.
Oh!
Taze and Kaner.
Yeah, fair.
So, like, as you can see, it's not just bluster.
Yeah. I get it. One very good friend, Zach, is just a diehard sports fan through and through. Rams all the way for football, hockey.
Yeah, I could get behind that. Matthew Stafford is my favorite all-time player.
That dude wears Rams like head to toe, man.
That's me with the Hawks or the Lions, depending on the day.
Oh man. And then I think he's like I don't know. I remember there's one last story. So I was not reading the room right. So he invited me over to his place It was a Super Bowl. It was like semifinals, quarterfinals. This was like 2 years ago. It was like the Titans versus the Bengals or something.
Okay, I remember that one. Yeah.
And the QB, I don't know who the QB for the Titans was or is currently,
I
but
think it's Tannehill.
he was throwing a few interceptions that game. It was like 3 or 4 interceptions, and the room was dead quiet. His older brother, huge Titans fan.
Oh no.
And I was just trying to be a smart ass. And I was just like, every time he threw an interception, I pretended like I didn't know what football was. I played a lot of football growing up. And I'm like, I just don't think he's supposed to do that, dude. I just kept saying that.
I can only imagine the frustration growing.
He was like, he stood up, dude. He's like, listen, man. Like, I understand you might not know what you're talking about, but you gotta, shut my mouth, essentially.
That's
and
so
he stormed
funny.
outside, had a smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah, he stormed out, had a smoke, came back in, and Zach, my buddy's like, what are you doing, man? You know you're not supposed to do that. I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know what's gotten into me. I'll make it right. I'll make it right. I'm just trying to be a shithead.
God.
And I was really pushing buttons, and I shouldn't have done that. But very memorable.
See, you know what? I disagree right there. If they're your buds,
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
what
I didn't
it
know his
is.
older brother.
Oh,
I knew him.
Then maybe, then I can see your point. But
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
trust me, if it's my best friends, we are the meanest to each other. My wife thought it was just me until we did it. She's like, oh my god, do you guys even like each other? I'm like, we love each other.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah,
Like, that's just how it is. Like, when it's you and your buddies, it's like, how far can you push it to be mean? Like,
I guess I was trying to like get to know him through like a little bit of like a camaraderie, you might say.
You were man bonding.
Yeah,
like,
exactly,
Without
yeah.
sounding sexist, but
Man bonding.
That's just how it is.
Yeah,
Man
yeah,
bonding
it
is
is,
us
yeah.
being dicks to each other.
And Corey and me, great friends now.
Yeah. That's
See,
funny.
it works.
Yeah.
You know, when you piss off somebody enough and you realize you're fucking with them, it's either A, you get your fight, or you get a fight and you're good, or B, you get a fight and they don't like you. But either
Yeah.
way,
Yeah.
it tends to work out that it works out good. Like,
You get strong bonds after a fight. Absolutely. Something
That's
about
my
it.
wife.
Some with a good fight.
it really does. And see, I told you, and you think it's just me.
Someone with a good fight, it's like, that's your friend for life now.
I agree, see? Thank you, because my wife did not believe me.
Yeah.
She's like, that's weird. And I'm like, that's just a guy thing.
Sometimes you just gotta get punched in the face by
Exactly.
someone else, and then you're just friends forever.
I'm
Yeah, it
dead.
just shows that, this is where I stand. You're like, I respect you. And then,
You're putting it all out there, right?
Yep.
It's just like, all right, you win.
is it the smartest thing to do? Absolutely not. But it works.
It works. It works. It is what it is,
Yep.
Okay.
Thanks for stopping by, and I really appreciate it. Honestly,
This is
I
the
was
first
truly
interview
in.
I've ever done.
Yay!
So happy, and I will make sure to put out that I got the exclusive first.
There you
So
go.
I feel even better. I feel privileged.
There we
Thank
go.
you.
Perfect.
Thank
I
you.
clearly, I could talk forever.